The Kentucky Wildcats, they're victorious down in the swamp. Adam Luck and Nick Roush here in the press box at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium after the Wildcats took down the Gators 26-16, shocking many around the world, not the Big Blue Nation. Cats now have back-to-back wins over the Florida Gators for the first time since 76-77, and Mark Stoops is the winningest coach in Kentucky football history. What a win, Adam Luck.
A lot to unpack here, Nick. But we have to talk about this. They totally shut down everybody's favorite quarterback in the country. Cam Newton, Dak Prescott, Vince Young. We heard all the comps this week. And Kentucky totally just sat on it. They just sat on Florida offensively. Billy Napier could not get anything going, smothered in the run game. Passing game was non-existent all night for Florida. And I think we saw with Anthony Richardson that big interception by Jordan Wright before half, Nick, that totally changed the game.
It got in his head.
More than any other play, you could just tell he was a little trigger shy throughout the night. On the boots, there was the quick dump-offs he had to the right. He never wanted to pull the trigger on those. He got more nervous, and then he makes the bad read. I don't know if it was maybe a miscommunication or not. It looked like he was throwing a hitch. Wide receiver was running a go. Keidron Smith squats on it, takes it to the house, makes Anthony Richardson miss in space, and that felt like the game because at that point you had very little confidence in Florida putting together a 70-yard, 80-yard drive against this Kentucky defense. The way they were playing, major kudos to Mark Stoops, Brad White, and all those super seniors on Kentucky's defense. Jordan Wright was a monster tonight. DeAndre Square made plays. Jacquez Jones made one of the biggest plays of the game on a draw early, looked wide open, close space, fast.
Put the clamps on him.
He totally smothered Richardson, which led to Florida's early field goal. So, and then Keidron Smith, obviously. A ton of plays from those veterans. Just a impressive night from the Kentucky defense.
Yeah, and I spoke with Jordan Wright and Keidron Smith after the game. Keidron kind of laughed. He's like, they were busting my chops for not scoring last week. I had to make Richardson miss. I only get so many opportunities to get in the end zone. That was a huge play that put Kentucky up a touchdown. And then the Jordan Wright play, he kind of laughed and said, like, I just stuck my hand out there and I didn't know I had it until I squeezed and the ball was in my hand. He kind of laughed, but he told Mark Stoops on the sideline, Kentucky has the safety. They go down, momentum's getting away from them, and Wright remembered what happened in 2020. The scoreboard didn't have that indication. It was a close game in 2020 until Tony took a punt return right before half, changed the momentum of the game. He's like, we can't let the momentum get out of hand. He makes that play right before halftime, puts the Wildcats back in control right there in the thick of things. It was an outstanding game, though, as like I mentioned, the second half. Richardson, Gators are completely shut out, right? He only has 4 rushing yards total. They only have 5 first downs in that second half. It was a dominant defensive performance. But we also got to talk about the offense, too. Making some plays early. Will Levis connects with Dane Key for this 56-yard touchdown, an incredible touchdown reception. Like, that was a big boy play for a freshman.
Good throw, big boy catch there by Dane Key to really – Kentucky was struggling to get some good things. Momentum happened early in the game. That really kind of gave the offense a spark that they really carried, I think, throughout the game. And Levis overall was just great. He took some hits early, but just kept fighting back.
He started 9 of 10 for $134 with that touchdown drive. Things cooled off later, but they made the big plays. We talked about it earlier in the week on the KSR YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. And a big shout out to our friends at Port Royal Plants who are sponsoring all of our content like this. Go visit them, portroyalplants.com. But they needed to make some big plays to score. And then the offensive line seemingly got it together in the second half. Their ability to run the football won them this game, even though you don't see it necessarily pop in the box score. Their ability to move the chains, keep the ball out of Florida's hands was a huge difference maker in the second half.
Perhaps the biggest development in this game, besides the defense just putting total clamps on Billy Napier and Anthony Richardson, is Kavasi Smoke, Lavelle Wright in the second half. 17 carries, 97 yards, just under 6 yards per rush, 47% success rate. They figured something out in the second half with the run game. And that is very important because we all know the way Kentucky wants to play, they have to be able to establish the run, get that play-action pass game going. That's when they're going to be at their best. We saw Kavasi Smoke get out on the perimeter. We saw him get some tough yards and some mean runs, and we saw LaBelle Wright flash a little bit. Very, very important, and not something I don't think a lot of people talk about after this game, but that was essential. And Kentucky needed to churn out those yards in the game because they got to play keep away from Florida, and they got to limit their chances, and that just put more pressure on Anthony Richardson in a night where he wasn't having a lot of success. So a team win, a complimentary football, and they were able to play complimentary football because they finally got that ground game rolling.
Yeah, I asked Kedron Smith after the game if he's going to send a thank you card to Richardson for that interception. He did not want to put him down, but I think we do need to send a big thank you to Roman Harper. Roman Harper, I know you're at home watching this right now. You're a big fan of the KSR YouTube channel and PortRoyalPlants.com. Thank you so much, Roman Harper, because like it, as much as they don't like to be like, oh, we don't need bulletin board material.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was one thing to say that Florida was going to win, but when he called him soft, he might as well have hawked a loogie and spit in their face, called their mother fat. I mean, it was disrespectful. Mark Stoops, he took that personally. It was the Michael Jordan gift.
Yep.
And what did he tell the team after the game? Who's soft now?
Yep.
Who's soft now?
And we talked about it coming into this game. There was just a lot of things working in Kentucky's favor. The week one overreactions, people wanting to crown Anthony Richardson a bit, right? As the next Cam Newton, the next Dak Prescott. And then you saw Florida jump in the polls, and then little old Kentucky's just rolling into Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, this time with a number by their name, but no one really cared. And in a matchup of two pretty evenly matched teams, I think Kentucky had that important psyche advantage, and you added up with what was a great, I think, game plan by Brad White. Good second half adjustments on Rich Gangrella to get the run game going. And it was just a very good team win, even with some special teams blunders. You take away those special teams blunders, and this is it could have been a 3-touchdown game.
I mean, the offense, too, for what it's worth, they played a very average game. You know, this wasn't their best performance. This isn't the best we're going to see this Kentucky football team. But they played complimentary football. The defense went out there. They won in the game. As Will Levis said, they are the MVPs. And trying to reflect back on some of the more dominant defensive performances like this is right up there with that Missouri game in 2018 where they didn't allow Drew Lock one first down in that second half. It was very similar.
Yeah.
And getting Jordan Wright, that was so significant. To have two guys on the edge that are smart, that are playmakers, not only just from a schematic standpoint, but him and J.J. Weaver, they really fed off of one another. Both of those guys made some huge plays to keep Richardson in the pocket. And then on top of that, I just completely lost my train of thought.
I think you bring up a great point here with just this dominant defensive performances with Stoops, because we've seen some. And we've seen the offense really let them down in some of the games. They didn't tonight because Seven made some plays for them. You saw the A&M game 2018. Almost lost the Missouri game in 2018. Tonight, they were able to win the game and by double digits to cash in on that big defensive performance because the redshirt senior quarterback made plays.
And then on top of that, when you got the run game going, Kentucky got more confident, like the entire team did. Florida had to go for it on fourth down twice in the fourth quarter with a lot of time left on the clock in their own territory that set up, a UK score that kind of iced the game. They could have put up more points on the board, but ultimately a great win. It always feels good to win in the Swamp, right?
Nick, what is the goal this year? It's to host Georgia on November 19th with the SEC East title on the line. You didn't have to win here in the Swamp, but it almost eliminated all wiggle room you had. Now you get a win early, you get that 1-0 mark in the SEC, and you get 2 weeks to come home in non-conference games to figure some crap out, right?
Yeah.
Figure some stuff out on offense to get your defense healthy and playing together before you head down to Oxford, where everybody and their mom is going for the Big Blue Nation, it seems like. And a great crowd here with Kentucky fans, and people were having themselves a damn good time at the end of that game, celebrating with the players. And they're hoping they're going to do that here in 3 weeks when the Big Blue Nation hits up Ole Miss.
It was a fantastic win. Kentucky's now won 3 out of 5 over the Gators, back-to-back in Gainesville. Kentucky was confident. And like you said, Lucky, going in this game, J.J. Weaver, some other guys, they said, to do what we want to do, we got to go down and take care of business in the Swamp. And the Wildcats, they did just that. We hope you've been celebrating responsibly, especially you crazy kids on State Street. It's been a blast.
Did you think beers are being deleted on State Street?
A couple beers are being deleted. Football school, basketball school. I think I got a pretty damn good football team. And as Mark Stoops once famously said, they're just getting started, bro. For Adam Luckett, I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats. What a win. What a win.